everybody. Welcome to the Lapsed Comic Fan. I'm Steve. Today we're talking Ultimate Spider-Man. Or was it Ultimate X? No. It was Ultimate Spider-Man. It was Ultimate Spider-Man. So Ultimate Spider-Man, it's a series that I never read until now. It's written by Brian Michael Bendis, art by Mark Bagley. So let's get into it and see what I thought. The first chapter is called Powerless. The reason why I wanted to just talk about this chapter in particular, the next review is going to be the rest of the volume 2 through 13. But the first chapter I thought was very important because it was the first time I had experienced this. So I wanted everybody to experience it with me. And I wanted to also give context for the next review, all the backstory stuff, so that the rest of it will make sense, because I don't think I could fit that into one video. So the first chapter is called Powerless. We get Norman Osborn. He's discussing this Oz formula with his assistant Justin. And we get cut to Peter. He's being bullied. You know, we'll talk more about the character tropes and stuff like that at the end. We see it's Flash Thompson and a kid named Kong. And he's saved by Uncle Ben, who's really awesome in this, man. Uncle Ben is really, really cool. And then we're introduced to Harry Osborn. Harry Osborn is a dick.
Harry Osborn, dick.
He says things like, "See you on the flip mode and let it roll off." All things really, really cool people say. We see Peter's no good at sports, stuff like that. We get his home life with Aunt May and Uncle Ben, and it's really cool. I really like these scenes with them in there, these panels, because the home life is something that's important to me. So I'd like to see a cool home life where someone's wanted. Harry comes over to have his homework be helped with, and he asks Peter how his parents died, and that was crazy, man. I was just like, gosh, dang, man. That's nuts. And Peter tells him, and he leaves. He ends up leaving, bailing on Peter, leaving him to do his homework. But the way that they use the lighting, it's showing, and they did it before in the food court when he got hit with the French fry, being bullied. The lighting that they use is really, really cool because it shows how alone he is. It's always these panels of really dark with this little circle of light around him. It's really, really cool. We see Harry's home life isn't good at all, man. His dad is also a dick.
Norman Osborn, dick.
And it just sucks for him, man. It's a facade. He's trying to act all cool, but he's really, really not. I mean, he just has a shit life at home. So we finally get to the point where Peter gets bit by the spider, and it's really cool, man. He gets bit on the hand, and it hits Mary Jane in the boobs. It's like, all right. Kong stomps the spider, and it's dead, and Peter blacks out, man. He blacks out from the spider bite. We cut to Norman and his band of morons. His, like father, like son, they each have their band of morons. And they're talking about the spider bite and what they should do, and Norman's like, just send a fruit basket and pay for the stuff, but just keep an eye on him. So Peter crashes at home, comes to a school the next day. He's being picked on, like, oh, I got bit by a mosquito, shit like that. But this is one of the cool things, is where the spider sense kind of kicks in. They've been messing with him by throwing food at him, bullying him and shit like that. And then they go to kick him, and his spider sense kicks in, and he's just like, whoosh, and flips Kong right on his face. It's crazy, man. It's really, really cool and very well done. Like, because you're already invested by this point and want to see it. And when he realizes what he did, he's looking at himself. A teacher comes out, and he ends up blacking out again. And wakes up in the hospital, and they need to take his blood, but the blood gets stolen, and Osborn has a guy named Shaw steal the blood, and they look at the blood, and apparently Peter Parker is dying from the Oz. And they're like, well, what do we do? And he's like, no, you got to take him out. You got to take him out. And this is a really great panel because it shows full-on spider sense, because Peter's walking And then this van just comes, our car comes racing at him, and he just flips over it. And at first he's like, runs up there and he's like, hey, are you okay, mister? And Shaw has a gun. And he's like, shit. So he was right. He was like, man, he starts thinking about all this stuff like, what's going on with me? Like, I knew that car was coming for me. It's weird, you know? So Shaw tells Osborn, and Osborn's like, do not do anything. Abort. We need to watch this kid, because obviously a kid who's dying couldn't do this shit. So the Oz formula must be working. Peter goes home and he starts recanting all this stuff like I was talking about before. He's like, I knew it. So he thinks he must test his blood too, you know, and he wants to find stuff out. We have this scene that is really interesting because I like I said, the family stuff where Peter finally has an argument with Aunt May and Uncle Ben, and he didn't go to school. He stayed home to test his blood and all that stuff after Shaw came and attacked him. So, I mean, rightfully so, but we also see his fingers sticking to the wall for the first time. He gets mad and rips his hands off the wall, and we're like, ooh. At the end of the chapter, it's really cool. We have Peter lying in bed, and he looks up, and he wakes up in the morning. He's like, man, all the stuff is leading to I'm a spider, you know? And then he walks over to the wall, and it's so cool, man. It's so neat. That is a great way to end the first chapter. And how he got the powers and how all that stuff happened. I thought it was really cool. I heard a lot of things about Bendis, but I usually go into something with my own thoughts, like what do I think? And since I don't have all this history of continuity with a lot of these writers, I'm forming my own opinion. I'm like, I don't know if Spider-Man did any of this stuff. To me, it was fun. It was great. I liked it a lot, man. I had so much fun doing it, and I've been reading Jeff Johns' Green Lantern, which is coming up next, and I've had a lot of fun with that, and it's been really, really cool. But so Spider-Man, I give the writing for this a very high grade. You know, if I were to give it a number 1 through 5, I would say for the first chapter, I was totally invested. I was totally hooked by the way it was paced, the way it was written, the dialogue, everything was cool. They made the people that needed to be jerks, they made them to be jerks, and the people that needed to be cool, they made them cool. I really, really liked Uncle Ben in this, that when he gave the death stare to them picking on his nephew and showing Peter there's just a better way to do things, he has that moral foundation, which I really, really like in this book. So I'd give out of 5, I'd give it a 4.5. The art, I love this art style. Mark Bagley, I think it's awesome. Later on, when I can only judge it from this. At first, I was kind of like, you know, it was whatever. I'd say for my first impression, without knowing what was to come, I gave it like a 3.5 out of 5. But the way he draws Spider-Man is so cool later on, guys. It's going to be so much fun to get into this, and I really liked it, and I give it a definite recommendation. And like and subscribe, guys, if you like the content. I'm trying to get to 100 subscribers. So I'm going to have a video coming up with a friend of mine, and we're going to talk about a giveaway. We're going to give away something really, really cool. It has to deal with the Loki series, and I think you guys are going to like it. You'll see it. We will tell you how to enter the contest. Try to help me get some subscribers if you can. Recommend someone. Tell me if I'm good. If I suck, I suck. Be like, dude, you suck. I don't like you. You know, just tell me something. But, all right, we'll be back next time with Ultimate Spider-Man 2 through 13. What happens? Who's the villain? What does it set up? Is Norman Osborn going to be the villain for the rest of this volume? Who knows? Who knows? All right, guys, have a great night. I was dancing once before and again and before, and now I'm dancing again.
So here we are. He put us on at the end of the show. I can't believe it. Bobart and Billy Beans at the end of the show. Can you believe it? That's awesome. What did you think of Steven's show? I mean, the spider guys. He sucked. That's why he has no peoples. He has no subscribers. Where we would have so many peoples wanting to suck on the dicks of the Bobart and the Billy Beans. That's awesome. Could you imagine? It would. Bobart and the Billy Beans read all all the comics show. Awesome. Look at all these spider guys. Everywhere the spider guys.